from London to Belgrade and then eventually to Kopaonik. Went in January, the peak season for ski. Is any night skiing available and cost for all of these. We'll have a lot of fun. Honestly, I have tried so many activities in my life. Skydiving, scuba diving. This is the most amazing sport I have. And the views along the way was superb. If you're planning for your first ski trip to Kopaonik, which is in Serbia, then this video is for you. I will explain my entire journey from London to Belgrade and then eventually to Kopaonik, how much I spent for this trip, and the visa information for the UK residents. Because currently there is no BRP, so people are confused like I was, that how are we supposed to travel to the e-visa countries like Serbia or Montenegro or Albania. So in January I was in Serbia for 6 days, out of which 3 days I was in Kopaonik learning to ski and how to do it. And honestly, just like you're researching, I researched a lot on YouTube, on Instagram, but I haven't found a single video which explained each and everything on how to travel from UK to Serbia, plus the ski trip to Kopaonik. So I decided to go and figure it out myself. This video is not going to be a fancy cinematic video which you see on social media, but I can assure you that this video will include all the information which you need to plan your first ski trip to Kopaonik. So what will I explain in this video? I will explain these details. How to travel from London to Belgrade, then to Kopaonik, visa information especially for the UK residents because you have UK e-visa and you can travel to Serbia. The SIM cards you need, taxi scams which you should be aware of, bus to Kopaonik, where to stay, where to rent the ski equipments, very important, booking the ski instructor if you're trying for the first time, what kind of clothes you need to carry, the ski pass if there is any night skiing available, and cost for all of these. So basically all the information which you need for your first ski trip. There will also be plenty of tips and bonus throughout the video, so make sure you stay till the end, and if I miss anything by chance, just drop your questions in the comment section. I will reply to it as soon as possible. Alright, let's begin. Hi guys, my name is Karthik and welcome back to my channel SettBro. So starting with, I booked the flight with Wizz Air from London Luton Airport to Belgrade, Serbia. The flight cost was like around £100, which included the cabin luggage as well. So to reach Luton Airport from London, you can take a train from St Pancras International or from Farringdon. But here is something important which confused me in the beginning. When you're booking the train tickets, it will show you 3 stations with similar name: Luton Parkway, Luton Airport and Luton Station. Make sure you select Luton Airport. So the train route will look like this. You're going to take the train from St Pancras to Luton Parkway, which takes around 30 minutes. And then you change platforms to take the shuttle service from Luton Parkway to Luton Airport, which takes only 4 minutes, and the shuttle service operates every 4 minutes as well. On my previous trip, I accidentally booked the ticket only to Luton Parkway, so I had to pay again for the shuttle service. So just book the train ticket directly to Luton Airport. The Wizz Air flight from London to Belgrade took around 3 hours. If you're traveling with UK e-visa, make sure your passport is linked to it already. And if it's not linked yet, I have already uploaded a separate video which explains how to link your passport to your UK e-visa, and the video is linked in the I button and in the description below. Before taking the flight, we already did the online check-in, but we didn't get the boarding pass, probably because of this UK e-visa, and got a notification saying that I need to visit the airport check-in desk to get the boarding pass. And we received one more email saying that we need to keep our UK e-visa ready before flying. So once we reached the Luton Airport, the staff asked to show the UK e-visa, which I showed it on the website, but you can also download share code and you can show that PDF to them, which is still valid. Once we reached Belgrade, the immigration was pretty simple. The immigration officer asked the same question to show the UK e-visa, show the downloaded file or on the UKVA website, and that's it, immigration was cleared. But I heard from people saying that they had to wait for around half an hour to clear the immigration, but it's pretty normal. So don't worry if they ask you to wait for a while. By the way, if you have UK e-visa, US visa and even valid Schengen visa, you can still fly to Serbia without applying for a separate visa. Many people don't know about this. At Belgrade Airport, we met a Serbian guy who told me that we can buy the SIM card at the airport itself because the price is going to be the same in the city as well. So we bought the SIM card from the company called Yetel. It costed me around 700 Serbian dinar, which is like around £5. It included 100 GB of data for 5 days. But here's another important tip. Make sure your SIM card is registered properly. And before you leave the desk, the SIM card is activated. Mine wasn't registered properly and I had to struggle for next few hours to fix it. One more surprising thing is Serbia doesn't have Bolt or Uber. They have the most popular app called Yandex Go, which is similar to Uber and Bolt. You just need to register with your Serbian phone number and that's it, it's good to go. Because my SIM card was not activated properly, I had to take the normal taxi which was just outside airport and they said it's gonna be like normal meter, but eventually I paid more than what I'm supposed to pay. On the other hand, if I would have booked the cab with Yandex.Go, it would have been much cheaper. Another option is to take the public bus, which will take you around 20 to 30 minutes to reach the city. But the good point in Belgrade is public transport is completely free. Yes, the buses and trams are completely free. I took the cab and it costed me around £25 to reach the hotel. But if I would have gone with Yandex.Go, it would have been charged maybe like £15 or maybe £12-13. So around a £10 loss. There are two ways to reach Kopaonik. You can either rent a car and drive directly to Kopaonik, which will take you around 4 hours, or you can take a bus. I chose bus because I found it really convenient because I wasn't planning to go anywhere else apart from Kopaonik. During winter, because it is ski season, there are few buses every day between Belgrade and Kopaonik. I booked my ticket using the Omeo app. It costed me £35 for a return ticket, and that does not include the luggage. I had my luggage, so I had to pay extra 60 dinars. The bus time was 8:45 a.m. from Belgrade to Kopaonik and takes around 4.5 hours. But here's something very important. The address on the bus ticket was wrong, but the map location was correct. Yes, I know it sounds crazy, but this is what happened. So I booked my hotel according to the bus stop location, and the bus stop is in New Belgrade. When you search it on Google, it will show the New Belgrade bus stop is under construction, but it is actually working. So once we reached the bus stop, we got to know that we had to pay for the platform ticket as well, which costed us 300 Serbian dinars per person, which is like £2.20. The bus was really good. We reached around 1 p.m. and my accommodation was just 2 to 3 minutes walkable distance and just 4 to 5 minutes walk from the ski slope as well. It was slightly expensive because I went in January, the peak season for ski, and also I wanted to have everything nearby, the bus stop, the ski slopes. I didn't want to take taxis to go around. Don't expect Indian food nearby because we couldn't find any. Mostly you're gonna find the normal food like burgers, pastas or wraps. So we booked an apartment. It was 4-bed apartment, so it's perfect for a family, and it costed us around £270. After check-in, we just explored the nearby places about where to get the food or if there is any supermarket, plus where to buy the ski equipment as well. The ski timing is 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. There are many ski slopes, but if it is your first time, you will mostly be spending your full day at the baby lift. The cost was 1200 dinars, which is around 10 euros, around £9 per day. But if you book it for more days, the cheaper it will be. There are 2 beginner-friendly slopes and you have the access for both with the same pass. But if you know how to ski already, so the ski slope is 50 euros per day and it's the same rule. If you book it for more days, more cheaper it will be. Talking about the ski rentals and the instructor. The rental prices are different at different shops. So don't just go to one shop and directly book it. Visit different shops and try to negotiate as well. The first shop where we went, they said the rent is 2,600 dinars, around 22 euros, around £20. But before going there, I already researched and I found somewhere that the ski equipment rent is usually around 15 euros. So I understood that might be scamming us. So we went to different shops and I found out that the cheapest was exactly 15 euros, which is around 1800 dinars. The ski rentals includes ski boots, skis, ski poles. And one more thing, we went to the shop and that guy was not giving us ski poles even though we asked him, saying that if it is our first time, you won't need the ski slope. But I would highly recommend you do take the ski slopes. It's really helpful because if it is your first time, you're gonna fall as many times as you can think of, and these ski poles are gonna help you to get up. They charge you for helmet around 200 dinars and goggles are often free. Do confirm each and everything before you leave the shop. And always negotiate as much as possible because they can get more cheaper. So for the first time skier, the ski boots will be heavy, it will be hard for you to walk, and the ski will be heavy as well. The ski I got was around 7 kg. I got to know because it was written on that ski. You will also need waterproof pants, which will cost you 400 dinars per day. For ski instructor, the cost was 45 euros per hour. But if you book it for 2 hours or more, the cost will reduce to 30 euros per hour. Try to book a good ski instructor. It will really make a difference for the first time skier. Maybe you can just go to the slope, just walk around for a couple of hours in the morning, and then you will get to know who is actually teaching it properly, and then you can book it straight away. They do have night skiing. The timing is from 6 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. or sometimes even 10 p.m. and the cost is 25 euros per night. And the formula is saying the more days you book, the more cheaper it will get. So these are the clothes I would recommend you to carry for sure. Thermals, top and bottom, woolen socks, waterproof gloves, waterproof ski pants if you want, or you can rent it as I said before, neck warmer, fleece jacket, beanie or cap, thick jumper, waterproof shoes with a good grip because you're gonna walk on the ice. If you want, you can bring your own ski goggles as well. Trust me, waterproof clothes are very important. I was very nervous because I have never skied before and I really wanted to do this for a long time. The first time I stepped on the slope and I couldn't even stand properly. Within the first hour while I was learning, I might have fallen maybe more than 10 times. And you're gonna hear this word so many times. Pizza. Just make a pizza. Make a pizza. And bit by bit you'll start learning and you'll have fun. You'll have a lot of fun. Honestly, I have tried so many activities in my life. Skydiving, scuba diving. This is the most amazing sport I have ever tried. And I would definitely go again. And don't forget, you'll have to take lots of photos. All the reels which you have saved on your Instagram for the transition, etc. etc. So full day was skiing and it's the third day. The return bus is at 5:15 p.m. and we have to check out around 11 o'clock. So we decided to do snowmobile. The cost was €90 for 1 hour and the views along the way was superb. If you ask me, was it worth it? Yes, definitely it was worth it. Slightly pricey, I would say, €90 for 1 hour, but considering the experience which you're gonna have, it is satisfactory. And after all of this, we just went around, had lunch, and then we took the bus and reached Belgrade. So next 2 days we were in Belgrade exploring the city. It's a very peaceful country and interestingly we found very few Indians here, which was quite strange because whenever we traveled to any other countries we used to find so many Indians there. And also in Belgrade there are only a handful of Indian restaurants. The total cost for the trip was around £600 and the hotel which we booked in Belgrade was around £50 per night. I hope this video had all the information which you need to plan your trip to Kopaonik. If it was useful, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends and family with whom you are planning for this trip. Thank you. Jai Hind.